much in the zone that sometimes you got to just go for it. And to me, it worked out perfectly. Prior to that injury happening, I gave absolutely zero energy towards my studies. I was just in college to play ball. That was it. I could care less about the classes. I knew that I had to maintain a 2.0. I had to pass 10 credit hours and maintain a 2.0 grade point average in order to be eligible to play. And I was like, that's all. And that's just doing the minimum. That's basically showing up for class, which is pretty much all I did. But now all of a sudden, all these, this 10 to 11 hours a day that I was dedicating towards playing basketball, I didn't have that option. And so I actually started opening my books. I actually started studying a little bit. And I became a student. I started learning about things that I didn't really want to learn about, but it wasn't really about learning about things that I didn't want to learn about. It was just more about getting into the habit of learning. It's the first time ever. In high school, I could care less about my classes either. And I think in those moments is really when, even though I didn't really name it positosis at the time, but I think that was a key pivotal time that really has a lot to do with me ultimately creating this positosis podcast about focusing on the positive. And I just remember so many people, they came to the hospital to visit me. They'd bring me all kinds of stuff, and everybody was feeling so sorry, and the girls, cheerleaders were crying and feeling so sorry. And I'm like, it seems like if anybody is supposed to be crying, like it should be me, but I'm good though. Like I'm in some ways I almost feel relieved. Like it's like, I don't know why, it was just the weirdest feeling. Like I just felt good. I felt good about my decision. And never once did I say to myself, okay, that's it, I'm not going to ever play basketball again. Like that was never a consideration. I just thought, just got to get up and get back on it. Got to figure out what my rehab is going to be and get it going and get this thing right and get back up there onto the court. So I went to college in this really super small town, and there was no physical therapy available in the town that I lived in. So I was supposed to be going to Wichita, which was 30 miles away from where I went to college, to do my physical therapy. Well, I didn't have a car. 30 miles, like it didn't seem like long, but there wasn't really public transportation to get there. It was during the wintertime in Kansas where it's freezing cold, so it's not like I could ride my bike there. So I borrowed a friend's car one time, and I went to one therapy session just so I can kind of see what they did. And the doctor did, the therapist did whatever exercises that I did. I don't even remember what I did, but I wrote everything down, and then I just did everything on my own in my dorm room and on campus. So I really only went to one therapy session, and basically my therapy was just walking and ultimately then I started riding my bicycle and slowly but surely I got it back. So I ended up sitting out that whole year, and then I played my senior year, and my foot, my leg and ankle, it really wasn't ready the next year either. So I basically hobbled through my senior year in college. But, after that, I still got my pro tryout. I still played pro hoops, and I still got full use of my ankle back. So November 16th is a very, very awesome monumental day for me. And it could be looked at like I have had that choice to look at November 16th as a pivotal transformational moment in my life, or, oh my God, that was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It's my choice. And I chose to, and I just didn't recently choose this. I chose this back in 1981 when it happened. Like I made that choice back then. And so what I'm asking you, all you positosis players out there, is there something in your life, some event that happened way back when that maybe other people will look at as like, oh, that's like horrible? Or that you're looking at, oh my God, that was really, really traumatic. is there value in looking at that moment and reframing it? In reframing it from your positosis mindset and redoing those memories as opposed to bad memories to awesome positive memories. Even if it wasn't the biggest positive thing that happened, is there something in your life that you could reframe that's going to make your life just a little bit easier and that's going to help build your positosis muscle? Pretty sure there is probably something in there. Everybody that's out there, I'm sure there's something that you could redo. Or even if it's not something from your way distant past, it could be something that happened today. It could be something that happened last week or last month. Oftentimes I've come across people where something happened like forever ago, and they haven't transformed that experience into usable fuel for forward movement. They speak about this thing that happened. Like I could be speaking about what happened on November 16th, 1981, and saying, oh my God, guys, that was the worst, that was the toughest moment of my life. Oh man, that set me back. That was just horrible. And that would still be pulling me backwards. But instead, I decided to transform that moment into usable fuel for forward movement. One definition that I've thrown out there for positosis many, many times is positosis is a transformation of all of life's experiences into usable fuel for forward movement. Anything, everything that happens to you that you go through or have gone through or will go through can be transformed into usable fuel for forward movement. I just talked to my son Elijah. I just talked to him. I was reflecting some thoughts on November 16th and with the overarching theme being sometimes in life, you're in the moment. You're in the moment, and you make a choice. In that moment, and in that moment, you have crystal clarity. And that choice that you make might not turn out exactly the way that you thought that it was going to turn out. But that doesn't mean that because it didn't turn out exactly how you wanted it to work out, that doesn't mean that it wasn't the most awesome choice and the best outcome. Positosis is focusing on the positive first. Positosis is transforming all of your life's experiences into usable fuel for forward movement. Positosis players, I really appreciate you supporting the positosis movement. I really appreciate all the comments that you leave for me. November 16th was an awesome day. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to everybody that has tuned in, coming from Boston, from San Diego, from Arizona, from Tahiti, from Sacktown, from the Big Apple, Chi-Town. Everybody, thank you very much. I appreciate all of y'all. Love you too.